Hello and welcome back to my digital classroom, AP European History Edition. And welcome to the very first lecture of the new year. Of course, I'm your host, Dr. Olmsted. Now, I want you to know this is a very different lecture than we normally do when it comes to, well, me. You all know how I usually have my initial slide with the whole outline, the key terms. Don't worry. For the next 39 lectures this year, you will get just that. But just for a moment, just to help you ease you back into the year and begin this year on a right note, we are going to do something a little bit different. And instead, I'm going to talk you through this PowerPoint presentation of medieval torture practices. Why? Because it's fun. Because something different. And because, quite honestly, the medieval period, despite the glamorization in Hollywood of the Three Musketeers and lords and vassals and their ladies fair, damsels in distress, life was not all that great during this period. And we will discuss some of those issues in the actual lecture number 1, which we'll talk about next time. For today, though, I do not want you to focus on taking lots of notes. Instead, enjoy it. Take a few notes here and there, note a few of the more gruesome torture techniques, and also contemplate the question, why? Why was England doing these things? What was the motivation? Was it just a power trip? Was it a God complex? Notice how many of these images we talk about have religious connotations. How many of the people doing the torture are in fact clergymen? Notice these things. So again, take a few notes because these are applicable for any exam. They are applicable for essays, especially for contextual purposes and comparison purposes. But for now, just enjoy for a minute. What she said. Now, medieval torture was quite horrific. Torture during the Middle Ages was used for 3 primary reasons. Number 1, to force confessions or secret information from those accused. We suspect you're a wrongdoer. We're going to force you to confess by torturing you to death. Number 2, to discourage dissent and intellectual freedom. I would not have fared very well. I very strongly believe in intellectual freedom. In fact, I believe it's a hallmark of American society. And number 3, to persuade Jews, Muslims, and any other non-believers to accept Christianity. Did you know that the best way to convert someone to Christianity is to torture them first? Nothing says God loves you more than a good old-fashioned torture. So let's get started. The pictures you are about to see were drawn during the medieval times. In other words, these are authentic pictures. Make special note, as I said earlier, about how clergy members were depicted often in their drawings. In other words, this is the church trying to convert you to Christianity or beat a confession out of you. So first we have the Iron Maiden. The spikes in the Iron Maiden were strategically located to avoid major organs, thereby prolonging the inevitable death of the accused. Yes, they were so scientifically advanced that they could place spikes in specific areas to avoid rupturing a major organ. Therefore, your death would be slow and painful. But yet they didn't understand basic disease ideas. We have the interrogation chair, always a favorite. It's painful from the start and only gets worse. Oh, and in case we don't think you're getting hurt enough, maybe you're a little thin, no worries. We can beat on your limbs, your arms and your legs to make sure those spikes go in a little bit further and make sure you feel the full force of this non-medical acupuncture. Ooh, the lockup cell.
Let me out of here! Let me out of here! You have no right to shut me in!
Yeah, what he said. So if you're a small village, maybe you don't have all the resources for one of these expensive things like the Iron Maiden. However, these are great for small-time holding criminals rather than an actual jail cell. There are no windows, no chamber pots, and it was never cleaned. Therefore, you will not only sit in your own vomit and waste, you will also sit in the defecation of the person before you. Yes, there's a reason why disease was rampant, and there's a wonder why we had a Black Death appeared in this era. Of course, if you are in a castle setting, they can hang you, suspend you from the air, While not only are you thirsty and hungry and endure the bad weather, and of course the jeers, along with some people throwing stones and rotten fruit at you, you basically get to be left on display for all the town to see. You know, I actually kind of like this one. Maybe we should do this for students who don't turn in homework. Maybe an idea. In other words, public humiliation. Ooh, this one hurts just to think
This
about.
looks extraordinarily bad.
Yep, we're going to take a sharp wooden skewer, coat it with boiling sulfur, and then slowly drive it in that tender flesh under the toenails, lifting them from their beds and slowly ripping the nails from the skin as that sulfur burns in agony. Ooh, one of my personal favorites, the gossip's bridal.
I warned you, but did you listen to me? Oh, no, you knew it all, didn't you? Oh, it's just a harmless little bunny, isn't it?
This bridle was used to silence a woman who nagged, questioned authority, or gossiped. Not only is it humiliating, but incredibly painful, because once you put it on, as you can see here, let me get my little cursor, there's a little spur right here made out of metal, very sharp, that's going to be literally on your tongue the entire time. So don't move your tongue, because you're going to cut it in half. Again, great discourager. And you wonder why, for centuries, we believe that women should be silent. Maybe we should put this on the men sometime. Ooh, the dunking stool. The ducking stool. This is a fantastic device designed often to figure out if you're a witch or not. So, 3 dips was common treatment for socially difficult women or habitually drunk men. And how long you're actually held under the water as it seesaws in the water depends on public opinion. There's also a popular tool for looking and decoding witches. Because what they would do for a witch is they would dunk you in the water. And of course, if you were not a witch, hooray, you would drown. Oh. But if you were to set yourself free and live, they would determine that you are a witch because, well, you survived this and didn't drown. So, lose-lose? Ah, yes. We're going to tie the offender to a horse, bull, or wild animal and drive it away in panic. Now, it's not always fatal, but being tied to a wild animal as it goes off in the woods somewhere, you might not be able to find your way back after a while, not to mention good luck getting off. Ooh, the whirligig, otherwise known as the county fair. Wait for it. Wait for it. Almost there, guy. Come on. There we go. The whirligig was not even that bad of a torture, but it just spun you in circles until you puke all over, well, yourself. Yeah. I love showing this presentation before lunch. It's always the best time. Ooh, mutilation. Nothing says I love you more, have the love of God, than to mutilate someone. Besides being very painful and horrific, it serves as an effective deterrent. You know, you could a blinded or, handless thief was certainly out of business. Cut off their ear, poke out their eye, chop off their hand. Wait, didn't Western society make fun of, Chinese people for doing that? But yet, they did it too. Go figure. Ooh, irons! A great form of torture and restraint. Add some weights to it to add some additional pain and to tear some tendons while you're at it. Especially if you're hanging. Ooh, the wheel. Yes, the wheel produced such violent turbulences in the body as it swung around in a circle so quickly, it could kill you. often cause bruises around the eyes as well as the blood circulates back and forth, and also known to cause extreme vertigo. Now, notice the person doing this is not a KKK member. They are, in fact, a clergyman. Ooh, yeah, that one of those rough ones. Ooh. Tightened by a crank, this very ingenious iron foot press slowly crushes the victim's bare foot against a bed of spikes, thus lacerating the flesh and pulverizing the bone. Good luck walking again, people. Ooh, disembowelment. Now, this is not quite as honorable as, of course, the Japanese tradition samurai tradition of seppuku, but hey, we will disembowel you. Torso slit down the middle and pull out the intestines. Sometimes they will coat the intestines with flammable liquid, set them on fire, and then kind of push them back in a little bit so that the person can burn as they are slowly dying from disembowelment. Again, this takes away all the honor of seppuku. Ooh, the ever-present fire. Fun fact, by the way, burning at the stake was not reserved just for witches. We'll talk about witches later, don't worry. I have a whole lecture on witches. But rather, it was a common form of execution. Yet, political dissents or dissidents were usually burned as well. Again, this is a very common, cheap way to kill people. Also very painful. Slow, agonizing death. And unless you're Daenerys Targaryen, you are going to die. Again, Game of Thrones fans, you'll get that joke. Ooh, the heretic's fork. Now, on first glance, this isn't so bad.
But I don't want any of that.
This is jammed firmly into the sternum and chin. The fork is held against the victim's head to hold the victim's head still to endure the torture. Now, eventually, next thing gets stiff. You want to breathe a little more deeply. And of course, once you do that, you're going to jab yourself in both your chest and your chin. But it'll keep you from talking and speaking heresies, though. Notice, church. Oh, and then, sorry, I forgot this part. Boiling water or molten lead is then poured into your ears, nostrils, or other orifices. Yes, please use your imagination. Hot candle wax was sometimes dripped into the eyes as the person's head stuck in one position. Again, they can't move it. And you thought it wasn't so bad. Ooh, the cat's claw. So we're going to hang you naked. Take this iron... Yep. Take this iron rake with very sharp points on it, and then just kind of scratch your back a little bit until we see bone. It's very effective on the back, the abdomen, the face, the limbs, or even the breasts. Yes, this is a unisex torture device. And of course, the ever-present whipping. Of course, this is important and very public in order to, shame you publicly, create definite pain in your body, and if we add a little glass or bone or stone to the end of the whip, all the more painful. Ooh, ow. Hanging by the thumbs. Great for encouraging confession, but does lose its effect after about 20 hours. Sometimes, though, they would use wet rawhide strips. And that way, as it dries, the rawhide strips dry, they start shrinking. It will actually cut the thumbs off from the hands. You literally fall off after about 20 hours. If you survive 20 hours, though, you're good. And you're pretty sure at that point you're not going to confess. You must be innocent. So, win-win. Ooh, target practice. Yeah, criminals are considered a very useful resource for training purposes. So soldiers can practice their aim on poor innocent victims, or useful as a good form of execution. Oh, just breaking. Yeah, it's a very cruel execution. Basically, you're strapped down to anything and beaten to a bloody pulp. This does make the death linger on a little bit, because usually they start at the feet. and slowly work their way up bone by bone, one by one, working all the way up to get to the head. This way, you can live as long as possible, feeling every inch of pain as they are slowly breaking you, literally limb from limb. Ooh, the small
I
box.
think I need a bigger box.
Yeah, this is often in courtyards. Most prisons have it for especially troublesome troublemakers and silent heretics. Now, one thing is claustrophobic. Number two, you're going to have a bad backache and probably knees. And if you ever get some little tired to sit down too much off your feet because you're really tired, that first spike is a doozy. Ah. The absolute two worst things you could be were a heretic or Jewish. And so they were trying to always invent new ways to gruesomely and tortuously torture you. Of course, this was thought to inspire fear, healthy fear, in the general public, keeping them safe from heretical thought. And so, adding weights to the thing to lower them slowly as the arms stretched down into that fire. Or, of course, lowering the man who's naked slowly onto the fire. Again, let's be a little creative here. Notice the year, France, 1559. Oh, live burial. Now, if I remember correctly, I told you guys last year about the rape of Nanking during after World War II by the Japanese in China. This was a common practice throughout history, and of course, in Western Europe, evermore. So bury the person alive. Maybe sprinkle some honey on them. Maggots get in your ears, snakes around your face, birds pecking out your eyes. Or just for fun, let's have a horse race over top of your head so it can stomp on your head as they run by. Ooh, tickle torture. Oh, I'm sorry, not tickle torture. We're going to light your feet on fire slowly and methodically just to torture you while you can't move. Notice how all these people are naked. Again, it's just add insult to injury here. Ooh, quartering. The so-called accused criminal will be strapped down to a table, and each of their four limbs, 2 legs and 2 arms, will be ropes tied around them and then tied to horses, and they'll push the horses in 4 different directions at one time, thus ripping the limbs from the body. Sometimes just for fun, the people watching, both soldiers and just general populace who enjoy a good quartering, they'll place bets on which portion would come off first. And by the way, sometimes the winner got to keep that portion of the body. Ooh, the pear. Now, wait, what's it do? It goes in, bam, it expands. Let's see, where can we put this thing out that might hurt the most?
Are you not?
Ooh, mouth, vaginal regions, rectal areas. Oh, and just to add a little more fun, you see the end of it. Let me show you a little, just get you a visual here. There's the end point right here and right there. They're very sharp prongs, which will mutilate the insides of the victim, shredding the intestines, the throat, and the cervix. Yes. Rather than use religion to spread love and conversion and hope, instead they used it to that. Ooh, the head crusher. A little more simplistic.
You crushed my little head!
See, Tweety Bird agrees. The dome shape protected the brain while the teeth are splintered and the eyes are squashed. Eventually your sinus collapses and you will die, but the brain stays there for a long time so you can make sure you can feel every ounce of pain as your head is slowly being crushed. The iron seat, basically using an iron seat. That way, so they use an iron seat so it gets really hot when they put fire underneath it. So you won't burn as far as the fire won't literally burn you. Instead, it's kind of like touching a hot oven or a hot toaster oven or a hot grill. And to make it a little better, take your pants off, let you sit there, skin to iron, and then feel all that skin contact right on that nice, hot, burning, third-degree burn iron. Yeah. Ooh, the neck breaker. It's just very simplistic. The boards hammer down into your neck, crushing the spinal cord. It will cause complete paralysis, but most often the victim will die of suffocation because often the trachea is also crushed as well, which to the dismay of the torturers, they prefer you to be, well, crippled. Ooh, the pinchers. Used to inflict scarring injuries, tear out the eyes, tear off the strips of skin, and of course, rip off your nipples. Because why not? Oh. Yeah, see, when prisoners are restrained in the dungeon, rats and other vermin crawl freely over their bodies, gnawing on fingers, gnawing on toes. And just to make sure that the rats did their job, and the rats were well fed and taken care of, unlike the prisoners, they often would pour hot bacon fat over the prisoner just to encourage a few more animals to gnaw on your toes and fingers. And yes, that is literally a finger that's nibbling on there. Oh, just good old pressing, by the way. This will also be used in 17th century Salem witch trials. So just very simply, put a big board as the person strapped down and keep adding one weight at a time until the person suffocates. Again, great for trying to extract a witch confession. Ooh, Mr. Potter. They put your hands behind your back, and I can't quite show you this with on this video, but you have to put your hands behind your back. Let's see if I can back up here and show you. So you go like this, and then you start slowly raising them up. Now that's as far as I can go. I'm not very flexible, but of course, in the torture method, the rope will be drawn to a high point in the ceiling, and then drop to suddenly jerk the shoulders out of socket. And seriously, that hurt my shoulder just doing that. So I can't imagine this. Ooh, here's no, wrong, not tickle torture. Usually, the shoulder joints are displaced first, followed by the knees, and the torture continues. Your abdomen will literally rip open next and tear apart as the nice, humble clergymen take notes on the most effective way and pressure used to torture a victim. Water torture. Water is poured directly into the mouth through a funnel while the nose is being clamped shut. Therefore, you'll open your mouth up if you clamp your nose so that you can breathe. After a few quarts of water, one will either drown in his own vomit, his stomach will rupture. Sometimes, just to be a little more torturous, we'll use vinegar, urine, or fecal water instead of clean water. Now, if you remember from my stuff last year in U.S. history, you'll recall me talking about that the American soldiers did this to Filipinos to torture them during the Filipino-American War from 1898 to 1902. I thought we were so civilized and evolved from 1500s France. Ooh, the Spanish donkey. Oh, this hurts just thinking about it. After a prisoner was seated naked astride the Spanish donkey, they'll apply 600 pounds or more weights from each of his feet as he is slowly, heavily pulled downward on a sharp iron edge to basically destroy the area between the legs. Ooh, the Judas cradle. Pretty much like the Spanish donkey. It's designed to rupture your nether regions. The copper boot. You place the boot around the victim's foot and then fill it with molten lead. Now, I don't really know how they ever got it off, other than chipping it away, but either way, you have some nasty burns. Ooh, star sticking. Strips of paper are placed between your toes and set those paper on fire. Again, clergy. Garrote. Again, very simple, very cheap. Just a French invention where you slowly strangle the victim by tightening the band around their neck, thus splintering your spine and crushing your throat. Yay, the French. Ooh, the ever-present stocks. You guys all know this one, right? It's humiliation. And if you're an especially unpopular person, a few hours in the stocks will probably mean a death sentence because you can't reach to wipe your face, and there's someone would usually suffocate them by throwing a large volume of something at them by the passing crowd. Of course, the stake, not burning the stake, but rather a stake to impale you in such a way that you will not die. So, very carefully, medically speaking, they slowly twist and they slowly push that spike through your skin. Make sure properly you don't have any organs and that properly you don't bleed out. Therefore, you can last a day or two as you suffer on this stake. Another version of the stake torture. Ooh, the crocodile shears. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to leave this here and let you read it. Because every bit as painful as it sounds. Ooh, the instep borer. Like the foot crusher earlier, the crank in this boot is controlled by a serrated blade this time. While on the other side, you turn it, sends the blade bit by bit right into the instep of the foot, cutting you all the way through. Ooh, the iron spider. So we have the one for, the crocodile shears for the males. This is a red hot used on females to rip the breasts off females. Because reasons. I'm going to leave this one alone too.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
The saw, of course, hang the person upside down. Almost there. Almost there. Gotta get that heart. Come on, guys. There we go. So simple but gruesome torture. Use a two-man saw and work your way from the buttocks all the way to the heart. And of course, hanging upside down just makes it easier to do. I mean, there's no gravity here as far as the person's weight, but, pushing down, gravity for the people sawing. You know what? I just figured it out. No wonder. Now we get to our next lecture when it comes to the actual setting the stage lecture on medieval, culture and times. We're going to discuss artwork as well. And it's a very easy thing to understand now why there was such a fascination with death. They were literally inventing new ways to kill people. No wonder their artwork was so full of death and destruction. But hey, now that you guys are all excited about this year, I'm going to leave it right here and call it a day. So until next time, take care and bye-bye.